I just want to show that I got the original covers onto these books. Very happy that I did that because I don't like movie or like real people covers. I never did. This is going to be my review for the first book in the Wheel of Time series, The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. A little preface for this. I tried to read this series, or I tried to read this book at least, um, like 4 years ago or so, and I couldn't get into it. I was probably like 45 to 50% in to the book. And it just wasn't keeping my attention. I wasn't really vibing. I think this is part of the problem. I listened to it as an audiobook only, and I think this story is way too dense to be just listened to. And so I was only vaguely paying attention to what was going on, and that was part of the problem, I think. I would listen to it while driving because I took a bunch of road trips around that time, and it was like winter time, and I would listen to it around then. And I just don't think I was in the mood for it at that point. I think I was still reading the Robin Hobb books, and I didn't want to commit myself to another series. That was the main series that was in my heart at the moment. Now I have finished Robin Hobb. I finished Robin Hobb, honestly, 3 years ago, I think. It's been a while since I finished The Realm of the Elderlings completely. Um, and I've been meaning to get into another long series, to commit myself to another long series. And I'm really excited for this one. I think this is going to be a good one, I think. I'm finally in a place where I can commit to another long series. And this was the one that I was kind of excited about. In the summer, was talking to my uncle about the show because he loves this series. This is one of his favorite series. And I watched the first season of the show and was like, there's a lot of weird stuff that's not like right. Not like a ton, but there were some weird things. Like I watched it when it first came out. That kind of talking about it in the summer kind of got me into the mood for reading it. And I was like, okay, let me just check it out again. Let me see if now is the time. And now absolutely was the time. I am so glad that I returned to the series because I loved it so much. I really, I really enjoyed the book this time around. I'm so glad I gave it another shot. I think this is just the perfect time to be reading this series too. Like it's fall, so it's getting like cold and cozy. And this series just seems like a nice cozy one for me. I don't have too much to say about it because I think I did love it. And when I love a book and when I'm really enjoying it, I just fly through it, and I don't really this is going to be bad, but I don't really like retain everything. Just the vibe is what I remember at the end. Loved it. I don't know about anyone else, but I feel like The Eye of the World was a really cozy read for me. Like, yes, bad things kind of did happen, but it still felt real cozy to me. I don't know. This felt like a cozy read, and I really liked that. And I feel like it's the perfect time to be reading this kind of cozy one. I'm also super excited to I'm like invested in the characters. I'm invested in the story. I'm really excited to keep going with it and see what happens in the next books. I'm actually a little under halfway into The Great Hunt, which is the second book in the Wheel of Time series. I think I'm just going to talk about some small things because I don't have anything super big, but there will be some spoiler things that I'm going to be talking about soon. So, one thing that I loved, it was small, but it was so cute, I think, is how Rand and Perrin always thought the other person was so much better with girls than they were. whenever something happened, okay, so we're getting to the spoilers now. When Perrin and Egwene were together because they got separated when the whole group got separated, like at the river. Um, Perrin was always like, "Oh, like I wish Rand was here because he's so much better with girls than I am. Rand would know what to say. Like Rand would know the right thing to do." And Rand going and doing the exact same thing and thinking, "Oh, like Perrin's so much better with girls than I am. I wish that Perrin was here. Like he would know what to say." I just thought that was so cute and like such a sweet little thing because clearly both of the guys are not that great with girls, or maybe they are. I don't. I think that they're fine. But I just loved that they both thought that the other person was going to be better in that situation than they were. I just thought that was so cute. Getting into real spoilers, I feel so bad for Nynaeve with the Lan rejection. I am rooting for them. I hope that in the future they end up working things out. But it is really complicated considering Lan is like a warder for Moraine, and I'm not sure how that would even work, them being in a relationship while he because like I think the warder and Aes Sedai bond has to be the strongest one, right? So there would always be Moraine in the middle. And I think that's why I'm doing some realizations now. I think that's why Nynaeve hates Moraine so much. She like plays it off as, oh, I hate that did all of these things. Like nothing would have happened to Matt, Perrin, and Rand and Egwene if it wasn't for Moraine. And yes, I think she feels that way, but I think she also feels stronger about the fact that she can't have Lan. And even though Lan has other reasons for not being with her, I think that she full on blames Moraine for the biggest reason. I just want to say rest in peace, Green Man. That was short lived and rough. I don't even know how the world's gonna be like without the Green Man. That's kind of wild. Perrin's wolf connection was really interesting to read. And I know these books came out before Realm of the Elderling, so it was so wild to kind of see where, if she read these books, she might have gotten inspiration for the wit, where Robin Hobb got inspiration for the wit from Perrin's connection with the wolves. And it's so interesting how this feels to me like a older version of the wit. Like the wit is more, I don't know, the wit feels still closer to human stuff. And I feel like the way the wolves are with Perrin, with all the pictures mostly, and like how they don't really talk in real thought basically at all, was it was interesting. It was really cool to see. It was interesting. I like that. I Is Tom Maryland really dead? Does anybody know? Don't spoil it if this comes to be, because it has to. It like has to be something that comes up, but in like a later book or maybe in The Great Hunt. But I really thought that Tom Maryland was going to show back up somewhere in the story because everybody around Rand seems to believe that Tom Maryland is alive. And Rand is the only one who doesn't think that, but he's still carrying the Gleeman's cloak and Tom's instruments because, well, he needs them to like make a living, but he also like he could have tossed the Gleeman's cloak, but he didn't. I really thought that he was gonna live, especially with the innkeeper being like, "Oh, no body, he's not actually dead." Like I won't believe he's dead unless I see his body. But he didn't show up again. And I was like, "What?" Also, how could Tom take on a fade? Like, he wasn't, he, I don't feel like Tom was a dark friend. I don't feel like Tom will come back into the story being a dark friend, but I was confused how he could take on a fade and survive. I'm curious about that. I still have hope that Tom's gonna be alive. I still think that he's out there somewhere living, and I think that he will show back up to save them somehow in some, like, kind of mysterious way. We just haven't seen it yet. That's my prediction. But yeah, I mean, this was short because I don't feel like I had too much to say, because I think also since I read half of the book a couple years ago, I went into it kind of knowing what to expect half of the time. And so when I got to the parts that I was new to, it still didn't feel super, like, I kind of knew what to expect from the story because I'd already been in the world a little bit. But yeah, so I don't have too much to say about this one. I think that I'm going to have more to say about the rest of the series as I continue. And I will talk about that later. I don't want to spoil anything right now, but I will talk about that later. I'm farther in, and I have some thoughts that I need to record. I'm farther into the Great Hunt than I probably should be making this review, but I think it's fine. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you read the Wheel of Time series, let me know what your thoughts were. I think this was a great introduction to the world. I think this was a good first book. I'm really excited to keep the series going and to continue with the story and see how it goes, but that's all for now.